Hello, good evening. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Muhammad Aseem. Today we are going to continue the Docker series, which is zero to hero. We already covered the part 1, which is the introduction base, and the target audience for this video tutorial 2 is that the person who don't have any knowledge related to Docker, even he can learn the Docker from the scratch. We are going to cover all the Docker series from the scratch to the master or the mid level. Okay, so just watch the first tutorial, introduction to the Docker container, then you can move to the this episode. Okay, here we are going to discuss all the points which we are going to cover now. So let's go and see this, and to get all the updates from the channel, don't forget to share, subscribe. You have to subscribe my channel so that you receive all the notification about the latest video has been updated. Okay, and you just don't forget to hit the bell icon also so that you receive all the notifications. Okay, let's go for the tutorial now. The tutorial 2, let me go over here. This will be the Docker tutorial 2, right? In this, what we are going to learn, so as I say that you don't require any pre-request knowledge of the Docker because we are covering from the scratch. So in this tutorial we are going to understand the Docker architecture, right? And we are going for the lab, and I will show what are the Docker commands, the basic common Docker commands, and in the interview how you are going to be cross-checked. Okay, that aspects also I am going to cover, and I will be adding the Docker also, like the interview question itself. Okay, and we will see the Docker commands. We will pull some of the Docker images from the Docker hub, and we will convert that to the Docker container, and we will see every part. Okay, in the first question in the interview, it can be that where the Docker is used. So to remember and to have the log version, you have to remember that Docker is always used in the deployment. Okay, it doesn't have nothing to do with the design, deployment and testing. Just you are taking the application code which is running in the local or another environment, and we are making the container out of our application code, and we are deploying. So this is coming in deployment stage. Okay, don't forget this point. This will be the first question from the interviewer. Okay, and the Docker, as you know, this is an open platform and it is written in Go language. Okay, I'll be trying to upload this document also in my for your references. Okay, so it is written in Docker language. It is written in Go language, which is by the Google, right? So as you are aware of that Go language, so it will be the basic one more question, that in which language that the Docker has been written. So you have to remember that it's in the Go language. Okay, so this is the architecture of the Docker. Okay, Docker. So if you check over here, you will be finding the three basic components. Okay, the first thing is the client. This is the client and the Docker host. The architecture which is commonly used for this is a client and the server. Okay, this is a client, and it is communicating with the server, and there is a registry which is a Docker hub, where all the images, everything has been uploaded or will be stored. It can be private or the public. Okay, based on the use case. So generally all the images which are there in the Docker hub, it is public, but you can create your own account, you can make it as a private also. So let's go and check it out, what is exactly the client and the server part. Okay, this is the Docker host. Okay, if I cover the point, if you check it over here in the Docker host, there is a Docker daemon, right? Docker daemon runs on the host operating system. It can be whichever hosting you're using, it will be running on the same host. If it is Linux, it is Windows or the Mac, based on your use cases. Okay, it is responsible for the running the container, manage the Docker services, and it is responsible to create the image from the image the containers. Okay, so usually Docker daemon is responsible. Okay, Docker daemon can communicate on other demands also, right? It can communicate with other images and everything. This is a part which is Docker daemon is used. If you go for the Docker client, you will be to see that this is Docker run, Docker build, Docker pull. These are the commands of the Docker, right? So in that case, if you check it over here, Docker use can interact with the Docker daemon. So we need something to interact with the Docker host, right? So we are using client CLI. Okay, command line interface. So usually Docker user, I'm a user, right? I want to make a Docker container of my application, everything. So I'm a Docker user, right? Docker user can interact with the Docker daemon to use the Docker services. Okay, through the client CLI, right? The client CLI. And the Docker client use commands and the REST APIs to communicate with the Docker domains. Okay, it can communicate either with the use the commands like docker run, docker bin, or we can use the REST APIs also. When the client runs any server commands on the Docker client terminal, the client terminal set the Docker command to the Docker domain. Okay, whenever you run any command over here, okay, let's say I'm installing the Docker client on my laptop, right? I'm running the some of the client, so it will communicate with the Docker domain, then it will proceed further for the Docker hub. Let's say I'm saying that docker pull nginx command, right? Docker pull nginx. So in this case, the request goes to the Docker daemon. From there it will check everything, and if it is not available, then it will fetch from the registry, which is GitHub, that is Docker hub registry, right? So when a client runs any server commands, any commands over here at the Docker terminal, the client terminal send the Docker command to the Docker daemon. Okay, it is possible for the Docker client to communicate with more than one daemon also. Okay, if there is an interview question, they ask you, does a Docker client can communicate with multiple Docker daemons? You can say yes, it can communicate more than one daemon, communicate with the Docker daemons. Okay, so this part is also covered. And the third part is a Docker registry. The Docker registry in the sense is known as Docker hub. So if I go and tell you this Docker hub, if you search over here, okay, this is a Docker hub where all your verified official images have been stored publicly. Okay, and you can sign in and sign up, can create, and you can push all your application images to your account. Okay, if you check over here, you're able to see that there are the multiple images available: Python, nginx, postgres, mysql. Okay, all the images are available. If I check Ubuntu, you're able to see that Ubuntu is also REST over here. Ubuntu. Okay, if you check here, Ubuntu is yes, it's available, right? Ubuntu. So this is how you can check, and you can pull all the images from GitHub, Docker hub. So this is the official image. If you check over here, you're seeing that Docker official image. So it is provided by Ubuntu itself, operating providers. Okay, so this is how you can go and you can request, you can pull it. In the simple case, just what we will do it in the simple case, let me show the document. Just we will write docker pull and the command itself nginx. Okay, or Ubuntu. So whatever, it will communicate with the Docker domain, and it will check it out in the locally if there is a image available on your laptop or anywhere, or else it will go and it will fetch from the Docker hub if that same image with the same tag name is available, or else it will revert back you that no, it's not available. Okay, so this part also is clear from here. So Docker hub can have multiple registry, as I mentioned that this is a public registry. If you sign in, you can have the private registry also. Okay, this point also is been covered now. Okay, then let's go for this Docker registry. Store the Docker image. What is the use of Docker registry? Okay, so what it does, it will store your Docker images. Docker hub is public registry that anyone can use. Docker looks for image on the Docker hub by the default. You can even run on your private registry also, right? You can communicate, you can add the credentials of your Docker registry, Docker hub credentials. Okay, it can communicate directly with your account, and it can fetch all the images from your account. Okay, even you can share with your colleagues and your environment, different environment in your organization, everywhere. Just create an image, push into your private Docker hub account. From there, another user, XYZ user of your verified, I mean your company or your colleague, can fetch the same image and he can work it on. Okay, this is how it make the easiest as a centralized way. Okay, so another case is that okay, we already covered the basic differences of that. Okay, so what is a way of to create the image? As we covered before also, we can take the image of the Docker hub as it exists, like I have shown you now, the Ubuntu nginx images, or you can create, customize, and you can run specific commands in the Docker file, right? In the Docker file, and you can create a Docker image out of that. Then you can convert that image into the container. Okay, the same way over here, you can just write a Docker file over here. You can request the domain to make an image out of your Docker file. From the Docker file, we can make the container. Then afterward, you can push to your private Docker hub account. Okay, so what registry is providing multiple operating system images, as I've shown. There is a multiple extension also, we can add it over here. Plugin, I said Docker client, Docker plugins, or monitoring tools, everything is available. Okay, So after that, if you check over here, so now we have covered all the theory part. Let me go and show you the basic the common used commands in that. To in order to do that, our prerequisite is that we should have a one AWS account, right? So you should have AWS account. You have to create one Ubuntu machine, VM machine on the AWS, and we need to install Docker installation, and we will try to run our some of the commands using Docker. Okay, these are the specific command to while installing your Docker on your Ubuntu. Okay, this already I covered in the tutorial one, so I'm not going to repeat it. So let's go directly for the server VM. So we are accessing the same VM which we have used in the tutorial one, which you can find it over here. If you go on my tutorial, I will add the link over here also. So here I already covered. Okay, so here is fine. So the thing is that just over here. Okay, so the first command what we will do it, we will check is our Docker is installed or no, right? So it's showing Docker version is available, so that Docker is installed in your VM machine. If the Docker is not installed, you just go and check my documents in the tutorial one, or else you can follow the commands also from here, right? So you can just install the Docker. Let me just sudo apt docker, right, docker.io -y. Okay, if you click over here apt install, sorry, just if you use this command, you should be able to install the Docker successfully on your VM machine. Then afterwards you can add some of the permission and everything. You can use this and you can configure it. Okay, so let's go to the tutorial and we will see these parts. Okay, so the first command, as I mentioned, that if your Docker is installed or no, how you're going to check? You're going to check with docker --- version or docker -. So let me paste over here. Sorry, the first command is docker version, right? So docker version, so it's showing me the Docker is successfully installed, right? The first command is already done. So the second command, what we will do it, we will just wait for the few seconds, and I will show you that part also. Okay, so what we will do it now, as we have covered, right? So we'll check few of the commands. The basic, if I want to know the information about the Docker complete, so I'll use the Docker info, right? It will show me that complete details of the Docker, like what is the Docker version, and sorry, let me show you. The Docker client version is 20.07. Okay, the context is default, debug mode is false, we have turned it off. Container is one, container is there, 0 is running, 0 is paused, 1 is stopped, right? The images have been 6 images. Server version also is there, the storage driver also is there. Okay, all the details has been given. Okay, so we can find over everything, like kernel, which kernel is using, operating system Ubuntu we are using, right? On that we have installed the Docker. Okay, and the operating system is Linux operating system. The architecture is x86-64. The CPU is 1 because it is coming with CPU 1, right? And the name is Docker itself because we have named the host name as Docker. Okay, the ID also of this VM machine, and the default directory for the Docker is varlib docker. Okay, if I go and if I change the Docker directory, just to show you where all the files related to Docker after installation will be stored over here. If you check over here, it's over here. Okay, you can know how many containers are there, how many images is there. If I go on the container, let me see what I have over here. C1 container is over here. Okay, the same way, if I go back over here, I can go to images also. The images, whatever the images is, it will be. Okay, so let's go for the second command. This directory, everything has been given, right? Docker swarm, volumes, directory, and everything. So let's go for the temp directory. So I am not able to go into the directory because I'm in the image directory, right? So in this case, what we have to do, we have to go back to the root directory. Then we can go inside the temp directory and we can check it out. What do we have inside that? Okay, so if I check ll command, then I'm able to see that I don't have anything over here, right? The directory is empty. So what I can do it now, I'll go outside of this temp directory, okay, to the Docker. So I have shown you what are the content directories available in the Docker path. Okay, so just what I will do it, just I will check systemctl This is a command to know the status of your status of your Docker service which is running on your VM machine. So just use systemctl status and use the service which you are using, that is Docker. If you hit enter, then you should be able to see that the Docker is active and running on my VM machine, right? So this already is providing. So let's take control C to exit from here. Then what I will do is just I will change the command, and I will use the command as stop, just to stop this service. This command is used to stop the service of the Docker, right? Systemctl stop Docker. So some warning is there which I will be ignored because this is in for the learning purpose, right? So now if you check the status of this is showing that it is in the inactive dead state. Okay, previous it was showing us up and running, right? So if I just scroll up and check it out, then I should be able to see, and it's giving the time also in 9 seconds before. If you scroll up, you should be able to see that that was active and running at the time. Now it's showing that's inactive and the dead state. Okay, uh, this is a dead state. So what I will do it now, just I will use the command just to start this Docker service again. Okay, so it's taking few seconds, then the Docker service will be up and running. So I'll use the previous command as systemctl status and the Docker. So it will show me that now the current status of the Docker. So if you check it over here, then it's showing that's active and it's up and running, right? So it's running stages. So this is how you can check if they ask you in the interview also what is the command used to check the status of your Docker, then you can say that simple systemctl status Docker. Okay, if you want to start, you can use systemctl start Docker. If you want to stop the service of the Docker, you can use stop and Docker. Okay, so these are the simple basic commands. If we check and let's go for the Ubuntu, in the use case what we will do it, we will just try to check we are into the Docker hub. Now I have checked this is the Ubuntu image is available. So what I will do it, I will try to first go for my document. I'll check and I'll show you that the client is going to hit our Docker hub as I mentioned before. So simply what I will do it, I will use the command whatever the command is the client in the Docker client. So from here if I write Docker pull nginx, so it will go bypass from the Docker daemon and it will fetch all whatever the image is available in the Docker which is public, and it will revert back to the Docker client as I mentioned before. This is how this services this is how the architecture of the Docker works. So whatever the command you write in Docker client, that will be processed through the Docker daemon. Okay, so now simply what I will do it, I will run one command as Docker search, let's say go for the Ubuntu. So what I want to do it, I want to search Ubuntu. Instead of I'm going to the Docker hub and searching everything from the CLI, also I can search from this case. Okay, so how this is working. So now in this case the Ubuntu is available, which is if I search from here again, just to make it correct way, so it's showing that one Ubuntu is available in the Docker hub which is officially, right? So in the real-time environment you should search for the Docker verified images, only you can use for your application purpose. So if you go for the Docker hub also, right, here are the multiple is there. So one is Apache is embedded in the added in the Ubuntu image, Kafka is added, some MySQL Postgres is added, Memcache is added, multiple has been added. Okay, so monitoring tool Prometheus is also added. There is a multiple version of the Ubuntu or images available in the GitHub which is public. Okay, so in our use case, if I want to go for the Ubuntu, then what I have to go, I have to go into Docker hub. I have to see that is a Docker official image, so that is provided by Ubuntu itself, so we can trust it easily, that one, right? So in the real-time environment also you have to verify that is provided by the provider or no. Okay, so in this case what I will do it, just I will take this Ubuntu image, Docker pull Ubuntu image. So just I want to pull this image and store in my VM, that's it. I don't want to create the container, we will go in the later stage. Just copy Ubuntu, so what it will done, it will give default tag latest, it is pulling from the Ubuntu library and it's fetching everything, and the image has been added, right? It has been pulled. So if I check Docker images, so let me add images. Okay, so I'm able to see that then one Python image has been downloaded in my VM. Okay, just now in the few seconds before. So just to cross check, because I have not shown you before the Docker images, what we will do it, we will add one more Docker image. So in this case what we will do, we will try to search Nginx. Okay, so Nginx also, Nginx default Nginx image is available. So what I will do it, I will quickly pull this image from the GitHub. So in this case Docker client will communicate with the Docker daemon and it it will push the image from the Docker Hub to our local machine, okay, which is EC2 instance. So if we check here, so it's saying that already exists, pull complete, it has pulled from the Docker Hub. Okay, if I check now Docker images, I should be able to see the image of the Nginx. Okay, so see, if you check it over here, you should be able to see that Ubuntu image, Nginx image, and the Ubuntu image which we have fetched just now is available. Before it was not there in Nginx, right? So this is how you can push the image from the Docker Hub using the command docker pull. Okay, so let's go and check few more commands. Let's say docker ps-a is used to check the running containers which is up and running. So here I have one container which was I have used for the last tutorial, right? So now what we will do, we will try to create one Ubuntu container. Okay, so simply what we will do, we will use the command docker. Okay, let me add the command docker run -i and t, right? And then I'll give the image name. I want to create the image, Nginx image. From the Nginx image I want to create the container, right? So just it is creating a image out of it's creating a Docker container out of Nginx. So let me just exit this process just to show you the alternate way also how you can create, and you can go inside the container directly. Okay, so I used exit command. So I'll give the tag over here /bin bash. So in this case what happened, you will be inside in the container also. The container will be created and you will be entered to the container. If you check it here over here, okay, docker run command it nginx -bin bash, right? If you check now docker I'm inside the Docker container. If you check it here, it is given also semicolon back / and the hash, right? So that means, and it is showing root at the container ID. Okay, if I ls over here, then I should be able to see the directories inside my container, whatever is available, home, library, and everything. Okay, so just what I will do it, I'll use ls-al, so just to list in the list format. So I should be able to see that there is home, etc, media, and all the directories available in the Docker container. If I want to go inside, I may be able to find some of the content which is already exist, right? So that is not our use case currently, just to have the overview how you can use the commands. So what I can use exit command to exit out of this container, right? Or yes, simply I'll use exit and I'm out of the container. Okay, so in this case what I will do, next step is that I will ll. So if I check over here -ps, so I should be able to see that, you know, two container has been created. One I have while creating the container I have stopped the process manually, right? The second one is which I have created and I have entered to the Docker container. So two containers has been created with the different container ID with the different names. Okay, if I'm not giving any name, it will randomly pick any name. So in this case what I will do it, I will use one more command to show you docker ps-a, right? So it's showing that let me just stop this. So here if you check it over here, as I mentioned that there is two Docker container has been created, right? And it's already existed because I have used the command exit before up, right? So if I show you that I have used exit command over here, so I'm out of the container, that means container has been stopped. Okay, so what I will do it, I have one more Flask app latest, right? So just simply I will start this container by using command docker start and the container ID. So I will give it docker start container ID. This is the command docker start to start any container which is in the stop state. Okay, so if I check docker ps-a ps-a, I should be able to see that one container is up and running. Okay, so it's showing that, see, the status of the container is what, it's up from the 14 second. The remaining containers which is in the stop state, that is existed. So this is the command is used for to start any container. Okay, so the next what we are going to use is that, okay, so we will use another command and we will do it docker stop this running container which is which I have just stopped. So I'll use the command to docker stop Docker container, right? So now our container is now has been stopped. It will take a few seconds. It will successfully will stop this container, okay, which is up and running, which was up and running. Okay, fine. If I check now docker hyphen ps, the ps hyphen a, I should be able to see that all my existing 3 docker containers that are in the stop stage now, because I have manually stopped, intentionally I have stopped this docker container, right? So it is in the exit state. Okay, so we have covered the docker stop command also. Okay, so the next one, what I want to do it, I will be using docker remove. How you going to remove this container which I don't want, and by mistake I have created 2 nginx container, right? If you in the previous, so what I'm doing, I want to remove one nginx container. Okay, so how do you want to remove this nginx container which I don't require? So the command is simple, is the docker rm. Okay, we can use docker rm and the container id. Just I'll copy and I'll paste it over there, the container id, so it will delete the existing container, okay, which I have mentioned in this command line. So just if you check docker ps, you should be able to see only 2 containers available. The last container which I have given the command, that is successfully deleted, right? Docker dm, right, which I have mentioned 2fe1, that is deleted. Okay, now the another use case is that I have all my docker container has been I mean stopped. So what I will do it, I will intentionally I will start one container just to show you that I can use another command also to stop this container. So simply what I will do it, I have one container which is ump-none, that is nginx. So the command which I am going to show is that to kill any running containers. Okay, so what I will do it quickly, let me go and okay, fine. So I have started this one, right? So what I will do it, I will just access and try to access this nginx container, but I know that that will not be accessed. The reason for that, the configuration, I have not done everything. Okay, just I will try, if it is possible, that is fine, or else in the later tutorial I can use it. So I will use this http protocol and I will give you the ip address. Still I think I will be facing some error because I have not configured and I have not opened the ports, Aseem. Anyways, that can be covered in the later tutorial. So let's go. Okay, let me try one more time. Okay, fine, it's taking a little more time. That means our our firewall configuration has been some issue. Anyways, but this is how you can configuration later on. We will cover that part also, no issue for that. So now the second case is that we will see how we can stop kill any container, right? So simply if you check it over here, it's showing that from the 6 minutes ago the container has been created is up and from the 1 minute. So I'll use docker kill command and I'll give the ID of the docker container. Okay, what is the docker container IP? 535C, right? The starting 2 character, last 2 character, just to remember. So simply I'll use just to check it out, if I'm going for the net start, right? If I'm going for the net start, I should be able to see any network issue. No issue. Okay, no problem. That can be also done. Okay, just simply what I will do it now, just I'll go docker ps hyphen a. Okay, I have mistyped, just I will inside docker ps hyphen a. So my the container is up and running, right? So quickly what I will do it now, just I will want to kill this application, this container. So I'll use docker kill and the ID of the container, so it will be killed automatically, right? So it will stop and it will kill the process of the docker container. So it will take few seconds and it will kill this container which was status was up and running. Just wait for the few seconds. So if I check now docker ps, okay, if you check docker ps hyphen, you should be able to see that 2 also container has been stopped. Okay, fine. And one more thing is that this part is already done. So now let's go for see another command. The command is that I can use I can stop all the docker containers which is which are up and running. Let's say I have 10 containers. I want to stop, instead of manually stopping, I want to stop all at one time. So I can delete or stop. There is a command. So for this case, docker rm docker rm dollar, then you give the brackets, right? just give space, delete the space over here, and open bracket and close bracket. Then you mention the command docker ps. So with that docker ps only, it will fetch all the up and running containers, and it will stop, it will delete all the containers. Okay, this with this command you can delete the container, because in my tutorial I will be using these containers, so I don't want to delete it, but with this command you can delete. So simply what we will do it, we will try to stop with the same familiar command. Okay, so just what I will do it, I will go back over here, instead of rm, so I will use stop. But the case is that already the containers are in the stop stage, right? So it will not kill any container because all the containers are in stop state. Okay, so this showing me the error, that error response from the daemon, the container cannot kill the container because the container is already in the exit state. Okay, I don't have any up and running container. So in this case what we'll do, we will do one container up and running. Okay, so just we will use docker start. Let me check ps first. Docker start, take the container id, just hit enter. So it is now the container has been started, right? So if I check docker ps, let me start two container also. Okay, fine. So if I ps docker ps, I should be able to see two containers which are up and running. Okay, so I want to stop it collectively all the containers. So what I will do it, I will use the last command which I have given, right? So just go for the command which I have given before, docker kill dollar docker ps hyphen. That means it will kill all the container which are up and running. Okay, so it will take few seconds and it will check docker ps command, it will execute, it will take the information from the docker ps command and it will kill all the up and running containers. So see, it has shown that all the containers has been killed. Okay, it has given the container id also, right? So if I docker ps hyphen here, you should be able to see that the docker container which was up and running, that already existed 9 seconds ago. So this command you can use it collectively, right? Just to stop your multiple container at one time with one command. Okay, so if we check over there, okay, this is fine. Okay, so now the second command, what we will do it now, if a docker ps hyphen, let's go over here and we will show one more thing, is that what if I want to use hyphen f command. With this hyphen f, if the container, if it is hosting an application, then it's not been deleted, then you can forcibly use this command to delete it, hyphen f tag. Okay, that I will show you in the tutorial itself. Just wait. So docker images, let's check how you can delete docker images. Okay, docker images, just will show you what are the images available in this VM. Okay, so we have multiple images: Nginx, Flask, Ubuntu, Python, right? We have 4 images available. So the thing is that what we will do it first, docker, and I want to delete this image, so I'll be using docker rmi. Okay, I for the image, remove image, right? So the command is you have to use rm, but if for the container you have to use rm. For the image you have to add I into that, rmi. Okay, docker rmi, and you have to give the name of your image. The image of the name is Nginx, right? Flask app, I can use Ubuntu, Python. So just I will take Ubuntu, hit enter. So what happened, it has been deleted. Okay, so if I docker images, so I should be able to see only 3 images, one is deleted. Okay, so which I have intentionally deleted, wantedly deleted that, right? So this command used to delete the docker images. If they ask you in the interview, you have to say docker images. To know the list of docker images, you can use docker rm to delete any docker images. Okay, so now in this case we already deleted Ubuntu. Let me give one more thing. I can give the same command as before, docker rmi dollar 2 brackets, then I can add docker images, right? Docker images and hyphen q. So if this command, what happen, it will fetch all the docker images available on this VM, right? And it will delete all the docker images. But yes, so if we check over here, they're saying that unable to delete docker because it had been used for the container. So in this case, what we will do it, I will be using f command, because this is a testing purpose. For the learning purpose, we can use f tag command, right? In the real time environment, we have to check before the image has been used by the container, that you cannot delete it. Okay, so I will give f flag, right? f tag, so it's showing that C it has been deleted. So forcibly also you can delete with the command -f, right? Docker rmi -f. So with this f you can give the tag, and you sorry, with this uh, uh, forcible tag you can delete all your used images also, docker images. Okay, so this command also we already covered. If the interviewer asks you, you can say that we can with the f tag, right, with the -f tag we can delete forcibly also if the images has been used by the container. Okay, but in real time environment it will not be happen, and in the real time environment you have to make the backup, then you have to delete any images or the containers, or you can push to your artifacts or is. Okay, so next command docker ps, you should be able to see that there is a two docker container which we have been using. If I check docker log and I have to give the container id, this is a command to check the logs of the container, and this is my application which I have used for the tutorial one, so I can check all the logs over here. This is a development server, it is serving flask app, lazy loading. Okay, whatever the log has been generated or this, and it's up and running, right? It was up and running at the time. What it was, on 28th May I have been used. At the time there is a one bad request has been generated. These are the logs of the docker container. And here also is showing that that was on the http port and 7000 it was accessible at the time. So this is how you can just do it with that. So this is how you can know it, all the docker logs. And if they ask you interview what is the command used to know the docker logs, you can say that docker log itself. Okay, docker log with the container id, and then you hit enter, then all the logs which have generated which will be here, right? So the next command what we are using, docker ps -a, and then what we will do now, we will check how to go inside the running container. Okay, so this command, let me show you that with that also. Okay, docker exec -i-t, you can write -t-i separately, or you can write it collectively also, right? So now let's write it to remember IT, because we are IT related guys, right? Docker x-it, and give the container id. So what happened, you are executing the command inside that. So the miss part is that after giving the container id, I can give any command that I want to execute inside the container being outside. Okay, so now I'm currently where I am now. I'm currently in the VM, right? So I'm not in the container. So just I'm giving ls-l. So let me in the docker exe-t, the container ID. In this container ID, whatever the directories or the file is available, I want to see that. So what happened? I'm giving container ID, then I'm giving the command. Okay, so just hit enter. So it's showing the docker exit hyphen. Yeah, what happened? It's not up and running. Okay, so what I want, it required the docker container to be up and running in order to communicate. So I will start the docker container, then I will run the same command. Let me start this, hit enter. So the docker container is up and running, right? So now if I go and communicate with this same, it's showing that it's up and running with a 4 second, right? I'll be using the same command and I will hit enter. So I want to know what are the directory and the files available. So here I'll get all the details whatever available in the docker container from being outside. Okay, I am not going inside the docker container. This is how you can execute a command in the running container. Okay, if they ask you interview what is the command required, okay, so you can say that docker exe-t and the container ID and the command which I want to execute over there. So let's execute one more command, cat. I want to create one file over there. So what I want to do, I want to see what are the content available in the docker file which is in the container, right? So it's showing me that there is specific commands, right, from work directory which have given instructions in the docker file, right? So this is how you can specify that also. Okay, so being here, so let's go and create some of the, we'll try to create some files inside the docker container being outside. So let me try with the sudo. I know that sudo will not be working, but let us try to know if there is error, we will fix it out. So sudo apt update -y, so it will update the package. Is showing that sudo is not executable file not find in the path. Okay, no issue. So I will remove just apt, right, apt update, sorry. So what I'm doing, I will update the packages inside this. You can run any command using docker exe. Okay, in the running container you can execute any shells commands. Okay, so just I will update apt, so it is updating all the packages which is available right in the docker container. So the next command, so being outside, okay, the next command what we will do it, I'll use the same command, and I want to upgrade the packages which was installed in the docker container, right? So I'll use docker upgrade. So we'll leave it upgrade all the packages. Okay, so now the thing is that what we will do it now, we will create some files, right? Touch, I will create some aseem.txt, which is empty touch file, right? With this command we can create. If I use docker exe -t, okay, the file is created in the docker container itself. Okay, so just I'll go back over here and I will use ls-al, right? So I'll be able to see the one aseem.txt which I have created, right? This is created inside the directory. Okay, so this command is used to execute any shell command inside the docker container. Okay, so this is the important interview question which will be coming to you, right? So you should be aware of that also. So the next thing what we will do it, we will try to add some content to the aseem.txt file also. So we will try multiple we will give the container ID. We will try to add bin bash, right? Let me go inside the docker container. Okay, this command is used to go inside the docker container. If you check here, if you give bin bash hyphen over here, if you check here, I was before that there, I was in the VM, right, in the path of docker, but now I'm in the docker container. If you check here, root docker container ID, which you have used above here in the command also, right? So docker exe -t. So if you check over here, I want to create one nano aseem.txt, but nano is not recognized inside the docker container. Okay, some of the commands will not work in the docker container. Let me try vi also. Vi is not working, no, fine, but touch is working. Cat also will be working, as I know that. Okay, if I want to see any content in the aseem.txt available. Okay, anyways, let me add before that some content. So let me try vim or any other command. Let's see if that command is working or no. So if I use cat aseem.txt, that is also not working because aseem.txt does not have any content over there. So let me delete now rm aseem.txt, right? If I ls, then I'm seeing that I have deleted aseem.txt. Okay, in the container you can play around anything, you can add any packages, you can install any tools inside that container also, you can upgrade the package, you can write instructions of shell script, anything you can do it within the container also. Okay, I will create one more file with touch aexe.txt, hit enter. Okay, let me add some text to that. I'll be using echo command, echo hello, I am Aseem, and I will give it brag. Okay, and I'll give Aseem, sorry, I have given exe.txt. Okay, so I'm adding some of the text, hello, I am Aseem, inside the exe.txt. If I check with using the cat command exe.txt, then I should be able to see hello, I am Aseem, right? So this command, this text I have added, right? This is how you can go inside the container. You can create any files, you can create directories also. Let me show you the directories also, right? If you check it over here, then you should be able to see that, let's create one directory, mkdir code directory. If you hit enter, if you ls, you should be able to see that there is a one code directory has been created. Okay, if I use a docker inside the code directory, if I ls over here, I'm seeing that I don't have any files inside the docker in code directory. So what I will do, I'll create one file or one empty file inside the code directory being in the container. So currently I'm working in the container, right? So just what I will do it, I will touch hello.txt, hit enter. If I check ls inside the code directory, I should be able to see that hello.txt. Okay, So cd dot dot to come outside of the code directory. I'll be to the app directory. The present directory is root. Inside the root I have app directory. So let's go to the root directory. If I ll over here, ls over here, I am able to see that there is a multiple directories has been available inside the Docker container. Okay, there is a root, there is a home, there is a process, library 64, home directory. I have app directory where all my document, all the data has been stored. So now if I want to exit out, come outside of this container, then I have to use exit command. Okay, exit command is used to create to exit from this container. Okay, so use exit. So I'm successfully exit of the container. From the container at the rate root at the rate container id, instead of that I'm getting the host name, right? Rooted direct at docker. That means I'm outside of the Docker container. Okay, so this is fine. Now what we will do it, just we will try to execute few more commands and we will see it. Okay, this is how you can do it. And let's revise and we will see whatever the commands we have been added or we have been discussed in this tutorial. First we have discussed how to check the Docker version, how to check the information of Docker, and how to check Docker service status, right? How you can search using the command pull an image from the Docker hub. Okay, list of Docker image available on your VM, how to run a Docker container, how to list a Docker multiple containers with the command docker ps hyphen, which we have covered, how you can stop your running container, how can remove your container, delete a container, kill a container, right? You can use f tag forcibly, right? Build an image of the Docker file. Okay, so this is all the commands which you have covered. You can go through all the commands. This document also I will add in the GitHub. Okay, we already covered what is a Docker client and Docker host and the Docker daemon. Okay, and the Docker registry. Fine. Okay, don't forget to share, subscribe with all your friends circle, right? And don't forget to share, subscribe. And this is the sheet. This is the owner of this is Intel path. From you can go and you can check Docker sheet, cheat sheet. In the all the commands has been given. Docker architecture command, the build Docker build command, right? All the commands has been given here. Service command, this you can go through and we will cover in the next tutorial. Also don't forget to be active and we will be coming with the next tutorial also quickly. So don't forget to be active, share, subscribe and comment and let me know you are finding any difficulty or no, right? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.